Fang Yi lived in a world teetering on the brink of change. News spread of beasts crossing dimension, ancient ruins emerging, and cracks forming in reality itself. The authorities warned that the revival of spiritual energy would reshape everything within a year. Yet in the middle of these warnings, life at school continued, and Fang Yi soon became the center of attention. On the day of a public gathering, his girlfriend, Chu Qingli, confronted him. Before a crowd, she declared their relationship unrealistic, insisting they part ways. Whispers filled the square as she ended things coldly. Everyone expected Fang Yi to break down, to beg her to reconsider. Instead, he remained calm, offering only quiet acceptance. His composure stunned the crowd, leaving even the girl unsettled. Chu Qingli pressed him for a reaction, but Fang Yi dismissed her persistence. He told her bluntly that he would not return to her side, no matter her intention. His words carried a weight that silenced the onlooker. Beneath his calm gaze lay memories of another timeline, a past life where humanity fell into ruin. Now reborn, Fang Yi's concern was no longer heartbreak. His focus was survival. The true crisis was coming, and only strength would decide who endured. The vision unfolded before Fang Yi, showing the collapse of old value. Power would soon become the only standard, and spiritual practitioners would decide the order of the world. As he reached out, a surge of light revealed a strange interface. It identified itself as a system from the ends of the universe, designed to forge cultivation techniques and guide him through the coming era. Before he could grasp its meaning, a massive beast lunged from the darkness. Its Fang Yi's threatened to end him instantly. But instead of fear, Fang Yi saw an illusion, his past self. The memory of his ordinary life returned, powerless, overwhelmed, struggling for survival as mutated beasts overran the world. He recalled the fall of his nation, the suffering of its people, and his own death consumed by despair and vengeance. Now, he understood. The system had chosen him, sending him back to a year before aura recovery. Unlike before, he would no longer drift helplessly. He clenched his fist, determined to use every anomaly to his advantage. The system accepted his resolve, binding itself to him. With golden eyes glowing, Fang Yi stepped onto a new path, one where cultivation meant survival, and survival meant saving the world. Humanity faced a looming crisis as anomalies spread across the world. Governments chose silence, issuing vague warnings that kept the public calm but unprepared. Fang Yi, however, understood these signs better than anyone. Holding his phone, he saw reports of rising heat at Qingcheng University, with temperatures breaking records and safety alerts being dismissed as exaggeration. To most, it seemed like hype. To him, it was proof of another anomaly. Determined, he made his way to the campus. The air shimmered with oppressive heat, and the sun glared unnaturally overhead. Students complained casually, unaware of the danger. Fang Yi recognized this as his first real chance to gain strength through the system. At the gates, the abnormal heat condensed into a glowing sphere of energy. He reached out, and the system confirmed detection of a powerful fluctuation. Lightning surged into his body as he absorbed the anomaly. Agonizing pain racked, golden energy flooding his veins. He felt as though he was burning alive, yet his resolve held. Just as his body was about to collapse, the system completed integration. His hair turned white, eyes blazed with light, and new power coursed through him. He had acquired the golden Sunday breathing tech, his first step towards survival. At Qingcheng University, the new semester began with a flood of students arriving at the registration gates. Among them, Chu Qingli drew immediate attention. Her striking presence attracted classmates, offering help and clubs seeking recruits, but she dismissed their efforts with calm indifference. Meanwhile, groups of friends reunited, their carefree chatter contrasting with her solitary demeanor. Suddenly, an unnatural light tore across the sky, shaking the peaceful campus. A fiery column struck the ground, triggering alarms and stern warnings from loudspeakers. The students panicked, uncertain of what they had witnessed. In the chaos, Fang Yi emerged, his figure engulfed in flames yet standing firm. Unlike the others, he faced the anomaly head-on through sheer will. He invoked a strange technique, drawing power from the blazing sun itself. Golden energy surged through his body as an unfamiliar system interface appeared before him, rewarding him with mysterious compilation. Though confused, Fang Yi understood this newfound strength was vital. Around him, the sky dimmed briefly before clearing again, leaving whispers of unease among students. At the North Gate, crowds formed despite official warning. University leaders rushed to maintain order, but the area had already transformed into a classified, polluted zone. Fang Yi realized he was not the only one marked by this change. Fang Yi swiftly retreated from the chaotic North Gate, his figure vanishing into the distance before anyone could track. A cloaked figure examined the traces left behind, realizing the disturbance was not natural but deliberately created. The thought of someone awakening to aura so early unsettled them, raising questions about hidden talents. Chu Qingli, watching from afar, was shaken. She briefly imagined the mysterious figure to be Fang Yi, but dismissed the idea, doubting he could reach such heights. Later, Fang Yi returned home, his body still radiating intense heat that no remedy could soothe. Cold showers and air conditioning failed, leaving him restless and sleepless. Curious about the commotion his actions might have caused, he checked the news and found the Aura Cultivation Association trending. Once dismissed as a fringe organization, the group now released cultivation details, hinting at official ties to the government, recalling the cloaked individuals at the university. Fang Yi suspected a deeper connection. Determined, he He tested the golden Sunday breathing technique again. Flames engulfed, filling the room with searing energy. As he meditated, his body began transforming, refined into a vessel capable of containing heaven and earth's aura, marking the first step of his true cultivation journey. Fang Yi sat cross-legged, his body blazing with golden aura. Concentrating deeply, he willed the energy into shape. The air around him twisted as radiant flames condensed into the form of a massive divine act. The technique surged within him, overwhelming yet exhilarating, until the system declared his ascension into the Doshuai realm. With it came a new ability, the power to embed aura into objects. Testing the feature, Fang Yi selected a simple cup. Channeling his energy, he watched it glow with a faint yang attribute, confirming the system's function. The realization struck him: any weapon once infused could become his signature tool. The possibilities stretched far beyond a single attribute, opening the path to forging truly supernatural arms. Resolved, he eyed an unused sword in his room. Though plain, it would serve as his first experiment before ordering a true weapon. As night fell, however, danger stirred outside. In the forest, monstrous beasts with glowing red eyes crept closer, their fangs bared toward his home. Late at night, Fang Yi stirred in his apartment. The silence was broken by faint, scratching noises echoing through the building. At first, he dismissed them as ordinary pests, but the sound grew persistent. His sharp senses told him something was wrong. Rising from his bed, his eyes glowed faintly red as he searched for the source. The noise didn't come from the pipes or walls, but seemed to echo unnatural. As he investigated, the scratching grew louder until it erupted into chaos. A mutated rabbit, its body twisted and eyes burning red, crashed through the hallway. Fang Yi immediately recognized it as a beast affected by the aura anomaly. Memories from his previous life surfaced, reminding him how creatures like these spread fear and destruction. Meanwhile, high above the city, a female operative pursued the beast from a distance. She analyzed its speed and confirmed it was faster than expected, forcing her to coordinate reinforcement. Leaping across rooftops, she locked onto its aura and tracked it toward the residential zone. The rabbit's movements threatened to enter densely populated areas. Orders were given to contain it at all costs. Observers below caught glimpses of shadows darting through the night, mistaking them for illusion, unaware of the danger looming overhead. The mutated beast lunged forward with a roar, its Fang Yi's aiming for Fang Yi. His eyes glowed with sharp focus, golden energy sparking in his palm. With his recent breakthrough, the world slowed around. Every motion of the beast appeared clearer, and his body responded instinctively, dodging its strikes with agility. Despite his advantage, Fang Yi realized the threat was unusual. Mutated beasts were never supposed to appear this early. The rabbit's twisted form pulsed with unstable power, its frenzy intensifying with each move. Drawing upon his golden Sunday breathing, he countered fiercely, determined to prevent the creature from harming the residents of the building. Identifying its weakness, Fang Yi struck at the tail, forcing the beast back. Energy surged through him as he unleashed a devastating blast, golden light piercing the night, yet the creature resisted, attempting to absorb his aura, its body warping in grotesque ways. Finally, with a surge of will, Fang Yi overpowered it, golden energy bursting outward in an explosion that lit the sky. Nearby residents mistook the noise for thunder, unaware of the battle. Standing amidst the fading glow, Fang Yi breathed heavily, realizing the beast had tried to devour his energy like a starving ghost. Fang Yi stood amidst the fading glow, watching fragments of aura dissipate into the night. The mutated beast's remains left behind only a corrupted core, proof of how desperate it had been for energy. He concluded the creature was starved, driven to reckless aggression even against its elemental counter. The realization confirmed his fear. Mutations had already begun. Without his breakthrough, he too would have been prey. Determined, Fang Yi resolved to acquire more techniques if he wished to stand against threats of this scale. Elsewhere, a silver-haired operative tracked the aftermath. Landing near the shattered battlefield, she found the beast's corpse torn apart. Shocked, she sensed not the night attribute she expected, but a scorching pure yang aura, eerily similar to the one detected earlier at Qingcheng University's North Gate. This raised suspicions of a hidden cultivator acting independent. Reporting back to headquarters, she confirmed the beast was slain by an unknown force. Analysts noted the aura was refined, despite belonging to someone only at Ghost Axe Realm 1 star. The organization concluded such talent must not be overlooked. Orders were given to prioritize tracking this individual and persuading them to join the Aura Cultivation Association, marking the beginning of a new pursuit. She watched Fang Yi stood within blazing flame, determined to uncover this mysterious man. Fang Yi rose early, welcoming the first light of dawn. The sunlight bathed his room as he prepared for cultivation. His body felt energized as he activated the golden Sunday breathing technique, drawing strength from the morning radiance. Power surged within him, golden energy swirling around his frame. To his surprise, his progress accelerated rapidly, and he broke through another stage with ease. The glow around him intensified, marking yet another advancement on his path. He continued his training with focus. In his hands, a heavy axe gleamed with golden force. Each swing felt lighter than the last, a clear sign of his growing strength. Fang Yi pushed himself, treating cultivation like chopping wood, demanding nothing but persistence. His strikes carved through the air, leaving trails of blazing energy until his effort culminated in another sudden power. His body toughened, his aura sharper, as he advanced to the Ghost Axe Realm 2 star. Yet Fang Yi knew such progress drew attention. His cultivation was too conspicuous, and others had begun noticing the disturbances he caused. Determined, he sought isolation. Near a river, He tested a blade by coating it with the yang attribute, fusing weapon and energy. The blade resonated with him, proving itself a true weapon for battles to come. Fang Yi tested his newly empowered weapon, releasing a surge of golden energy. The force burst outward, nearly igniting the surrounding forest. Realizing the danger, he quickly suppressed the flames before they spread. Even so, the noise and smoke were impossible to hide. Knowing he had drawn unwanted attention, Fang Yi decided to leave swiftly. Elsewhere, a young girl stumbled into the aft. She had been chasing a reward but arrived too late. Frustrated by her misfortune, she noticed the steaming ground and questioned the strange Buddha statue nearby. Complaining about her constant bad luck, she worried over how to handle the bizarre incident. Her frustration turned to shock when she sensed the energy lingering in the air. Fang Yi's cultivation had advanced rapidly, far beyond what she believed possible. The weapon he wielded carried the aura of a spirit weapon, a rarity said to exist only in limited numbers within the association. Doubt and disbelief filled her mind, especially since such technology wasn't even complete or publicly available. Meanwhile, Fang Yi reflected on his progress. The system granted him flexibility, allowing different attributes to be coded into weapon. Testing the yang attribute had worked, and he considered stacking more. His thoughts were interrupted when he received messages about a new pollution zone. Curious and sensing opportunity, he agreed to join the exploration. In the Bingxi district, a small team of cultivators gathered near a cliffside cave. They relied on a map to locate the entrance, planning to explore together for resources. Their leader reminded them that cooperation was key once inside. Among them, a blonde youth spoke proudly about his connections, noting how difficult it was to gain recognition from the government-backed Spiritual Energy Cultivation Association. Soon, Fang Yi arrived, carrying his weapon with calm confidence. His presence surprised the group, so young, yet already at the Ghostax realm 2-star. His aura felt unusual, strong yet strangely warm, unlike the oppressive force they expect. Accepting him quickly, the group advanced into the cave. Deeper inside, heat grew intense. Lava flows glowed beneath the rocky ground, proof they had reached the heart of a pollution zone. Fang Yi suddenly stepped forward, ignoring warning. He pressed close to the molten energy as his system detected an anomaly. At once, the interface activated, analyzing the inner flame and beginning the coding process. Fang Yi summoned the power of the Scarlet Flame Sword, a technique fueled by intense internal fire. The flames gathered around his weapon, forming a blazing vortex that promised overwhelming destruction. As he steadied his grip, the weapon absorbed the surrounding energy, fusing with his strength until he stood at the center of a fiery storm. Spectators watched anxiously, then in relief, as the raging lava's power was drawn harmlessly into Fang Yi's blade. The eruption subsided, leaving behind an abundance of spiritual energy. Cultivators nearby immediately noticed the rare chance to advance their strength. Among them was Zhang Xiaoya, who remained cautious, choosing instead to watch for threats while her allies focused on cultivation. Her vigilance paid off when shadows emerged, other pioneers drawn by the energy. A group of hostile men appeared, their leader demanding control of the area. Recognizing their overwhelming force, Xiaoya hesitated to fight, but she defended their claim by pointing to Fang Yi's ongoing absorption. The intruders refused and prepared violence. At that moment, Fang Yi returned, flames still coursing through him. Without hesitation, he confronted the aggressor. His sword erupted in fire, overwhelming the enemy leader and forcing the group back. With one final strike, he commanded them to retreat, securing the area for his companion. The enemy leader was shaken by the second explosion of flame. Realizing Fang Yi's power was beyond comprehension, he and his men fled in fear, unwilling to challenge him further. The crowd marveled at the strike, whispering about the devastation it could have caused had it landed at full force. With the spiritual energy now depleted, Fang Yi calmly suggested moving on, and the group dispersed from the cavern. Zhang Xiaoya, however, studied Fang Yi in silence. His control over such destructive power confirmed her suspicion. He was no ordinary pioneer. Determined, she resolved to report her findings to the organization. Soon, news spread to the Spiritual Energy Cultivation Association, where Xiaoya's superiors discussed the sudden appearance of another high-attribute cultivator. The revelation caused both excitement and unease, as such individuals were destined to become central figures of influence. Meanwhile, Fang Yi returned to the city. While others praised him as a hero, he remained cautious. He suspected someone might have revealed his identity, possibly Xiaoya. Reflecting on the energy he had absorbed, Fang Yi realized he was close to breaking through to a higher realm. Without delay, he slipped away to the mountains to continue his cultivation. There, a sudden surge of energy lit up the sky, drawing the attention of a nearby garden restorer, Su Qingying. Alarmed by the overwhelming aura, she realized a powerful presence had emerged within the mountain. Flames erupted violently, power surging. Su Qingying leapt, determined to catch. A violent surge of golden energy pierced the sky as Fang Yi entered deep concentration. Swirls of celestial force surrounded him, forming radiant patterns as he channeled a mysterious martial art tech. His aura ignited, stabilizing into a powerful formation behind him, a divine construct symbolizing his awakening. The energy condensed into a glowing artifact that pulsed with spiritual power far above. Su Qingying observed the scene with disbelief. She recognized his attempt to manipulate divine class energy, a feat impossible without cultivation knowledge. Yet Fang Yi, untrained in martial arts, was doing so effortlessly. Her thoughts raced as she recalled the failed efforts of others to contain such power. But Fang Yi not only controlled it, he summoned it naturally. strongly, his momentum shaking the earth. Golden light erupted as Fang Yi broke through his limits, reaching the Ghost Axe realm 2-star level. The sheer force knocked Su Qingying back, leaving her stunned. Moments later, she scanned the forest, sensing his fading presence. Though only seconds had passed, he had vanished again. Emerging from the shadows, Fang Yi faced Su Qingying, calm and composed. He acknowledged her surveillance. She confronted him formally, but he remained silent, harboring a quiet resolve for the battles that lay ahead. Fang Yi remained wary, stating openly that trust had yet to be earned. In response, Su Qingying revealed her identity as a former athlete and now a verified member of the Spiritual Energy Revival Association. She displayed her ID with urgency, pleading for him to understand her sincerity. Fang Yi recalled vague memories of her past achievement, but pointed out that the athlete system had become irrelevant. After spiritual energy reshaped the world, cities collapsed, civilizations shifted, and the martial path had taken precedent. Although skeptical, he acknowledged her determination and agreed to consider cooperation under the condition that his whereabouts remained secret. As he departed, Su Qingying reflected on the surreal encounter. She knew the association had planned, but Fang Yi's independence clashed with institutional control. She realized she had to gain his trust gradually. Meanwhile, ominous thoughts lingered about creatures she had once encountered, monsters spawned by corrupted spiritual zones. These beasts fed on human energy, disguising themselves as disasters and spreading chaos. If left unchecked, they would devastate humanity. Elsewhere, under a stormy sky, Fang Yi entered a quarantined pollution zone alone. Despite official warnings, he stepped forward, silent and determined. Sensing a growing disturbance ahead, Fang Yi approached the epicenter of the storm, lightning crackling above the polluted zone. Designated unknown level, the area pulsed with unnatural energy. As he descended deeper, corrupted roots and eerie terrain surrounded him. Suddenly, a blinding bolt struck, unleashing a massive surge. Unfazed, Fang Yi stood firm, his gaze locked forward, ready to confront whatever emerged from the darkness. The spiritual energy concentration near Mount Yuhuang reached critical levels, prompting emergency classification as an A-level contamination zone. Officials held an urgent briefing, warning that the zone had become unstable, possibly nearing an irreversible explosion. Su Qingyi and the others confirmed that deployment of purification teams might prove fatal if attempted without stronger force. Meanwhile, inside the zone, Fang Yi endured a barrage of thunder energy. The sky roared as lightning surged into his body. Despite the risk, he pressed on, taking advantage of the unique energy storm to forge his physique. The volatility of the area served as both danger and opportunity. With spiritual power returning across the world, mutated beings began to appear. Some adapted to the new energy while others descended into madness. Fang Yi continued training under the storm, his body absorbing and resisting the elemental force. He viewed this event not as survival, but as a chance to surpass the limits of ordinary cultivation. Suddenly, lightning struck with overwhelming force. His body trembled, pain surging through him. But amid the agony, Fang Yi felt a break. He had located the heart of the lightning's spiritual root, eyes blazing gold. He awakened a new martial path. The violent clash of lightning and flame reached its peak as Fang Yi endured a final devastating bolt. His body trembled, scorched by energy beyond mortal limit. But instead of collapsing, he absorbed it. Refusing to fall, he pushed past pain and despair. In that moment, his consciousness expanded, allowing him to cross from near death to transformation. Waves of thunder raged, testing his will. At headquarters, a sensor warning triggered. A powerful thunder attribute was being drafted with an unidentified shadow at the center. The system confirmed an energy convergence never seen before. Within the storm, Fang Yi completed the breakthrough. Divine thunder flooded his core, and system notifications revealed rewards: enhanced power, new stat, and full thunder body compatibility. His body, once overwhelmed, now harmonized with the raging energy. He had become its vessel, both weapon and shield. Recognizing the imbalance in attributes, he prepared to transfer the thunder energy into his right hand to stabilize control. With a surge, he implanted it successfully, lightning wrapping around him like armor. Elsewhere, Su Qingying and her team assessed the aftermath. Though they couldn't detect his energy, signs confirmed survival. Fang Yi had triggered an unnatural phenomenon alone and left undetected. Authorities concluded the thunderstorm's abnormality was no accident. The energy spike persisted, defying prediction. Analysts suspected the unknown figure had not only survived but manipulated the phenomenon itself. With uncertainty about his intention, officials issued an urgent order: track him down immediately. They gave him a codename, the Tyrant, a name born from fear of his growing power. A covert team hiked through the mount under heavy rain, led by Su Qingyi. Despite the harsh conditions, their objective remained clear: reach the summit and report their findings. Su Qingyi, overwhelmed by the pressure of maintaining her cover, submitted a field report to Mayor Han. Her mission had become increasingly difficult as her identity risked exposure. Still, she reported that Fang Yi, the young man under surveillance, had recently awakened the powerful solar element, which could threaten national stability. Mayor Han praised her, noting the value of young people like her in modern intelligence work. Meanwhile, at home, Fang Yi trained alone. He practiced the Golden Sunday breathing technique, merging it with thunder-based energy. His body showed visible changes as power surged through his right arm. The thunder attribute, once uncontrollable, had become obedient. Now refined, it drastically increased his strength and allowed damage to spiritual entities. A government alert on his phone announced a major explosion at a chemical factory. The eerie coldness described in reports felt oddly familiar. Memories surged. He recognized the sinister energy as that of an evil force from his previous life. Gritting his teeth, Fang Yi resolved to confront, even if it meant risking everything. A monstrous figure emerged from the shadow, its glowing red eyes locking onto a terrified civilian. The creature mutated beyond recognition, exuded a sinister aura as it prowled through the ruin. Fang Yi arrived at the scene and immediately recognized the type, an entity from his previous life. These beings thrived in darkness and evolved rapidly, gaining intelligence and strength with each transformation. Fang Yi readied his thunder-infused attack, his arm pulsing with volatile energy. Realizing this was a perfect test for the shock critical strike, he launched himself into the night. Moving with lightning speed, he raced through the city streets, even traffic lights blurring in his path. Meanwhile, the extermination team received word that they had lost track of a powerful anomaly known as Candlelight Night. This creature was capable of merging with shadows and ambushing enemies without warning. With storm clouds overhead, it was expected to begin feeding soon, an outcome the team couldn't allow. At headquarters, orders were issued to launch a full-scale hunt within 72 hours. Every available resource was mobilized. Su Qingying was temporarily reassigned to support frontline operations. Her reputation preceded her. As she landed among the team, one member couldn't help but mutter, half in awe, half in frustration about working overtime. Su Qingying was called to handle a man-eating anomaly. Initially mocked, she withdrew in defiance. Realizing her value, the team apologized, urging her help to prevent mass civilian casualties. Under the cover of heavy rain, Su Qingying and her squad scanned the city skyline. Following the signal of an energy trace, they identified the location of the anomaly classified as File Number 7, known for dwelling in darkness and feeding on humans. With confirmation in place, the sabotage team initiated their operation. The creature detected their presence and attempted to flee, prompting the team to engage. It darted through the streets with astonishing speed, evading attacks and forcing the squad to split and surround it from all directions. Executing a full encirclement maneuver, the unit coordinated attacks to slow it down. Despite landing multiple blows, the anomaly's body endured with little sign of weakening. Realizing the threat was more intelligent and resilient than expected, Su Qingying issued rapid directives to maintain containment, but the creature unleashed a devastating roar, summoning dark wind that disrupted their formation. As predicted, it began transforming, releasing a corrosive green energy. The creature then attempted to escape by burrowing into the ground using corrosive dark matter. Su Qingying quickly warned the team not to break formation. While their own attacks weren't powerful enough to stop it outright, their mission had changed: track the enemy, gather real-time intel, and adapt the plan mid-battle. As the mutated beast launched a sudden attack, one of the squad members narrowly evaded death. The team quickly regrouped, but the creature used the chaos to escape, soaring into the air, fueled by urgency. The team pursued it through the city, following its toxic trail. They tracked it to an abandoned factory where the spiritual energy concentration had suddenly spiked. Su Qingying led a small group inside, while others secured the perimeter. Inside, the energy readings confirmed the anomaly's presence. However, it soon became clear they weren't dealing with just one threat. A second creature had lured them inside intentionally. As they prepared to retreat, poisonous gas flooded the area, impairing their senses. Su Qingying was the first to fall victim, her body overwhelmed by the toxin. Cut off from her team and barely conscious, she stumbled deeper into the fact. There, she encountered the true source of the corruption, an enormous serpent-like being radiating deadly energy. Its black haze drained spiritual power with each breath. Her body weakened rapidly, and her shield began to fade. As her strength collapsed, the creature struck, trapping her in an explosion of light and force. Just before losing consciousness, her final thought questioned if this was the end. Fang Yi burst through the ceiling, arriving just in time. Without hesitation, he engaged the serpent like anomaly. Wounded but undeterred, he unleashed a combined attack of thunder and flame. His mastery of both elemental forces overwhelmed the creature. With each strike, his power grew, turning the tide of battle as lightning clashed with dark fire tore through corruption. Fang Yi faced the monstrous serpent, its eyes glowing with venomous green light. The beast lunged, jaws wide, but he raised his golden blade, channeling power into its edge. With a fierce strike, he cleaved down, forcing the serpent back. His body moved with precision, the weapon blazing with energy as he carved across its massive form. The serpent roared, its body coiling as destructive aura seeped from its scales. Yet, the battle was far from over. The serpent's wound pulsed with eerie green light, its body repairing as hidden power surged forth. Fang Yi braced, recognizing the trick bolts of thunder burst from his blade, flooding into the serpent's core. The creature shrieked, writhing under the violent current. Fang Yi had anticipated this. He had withdrawn his flame at the last moment, using the blade instead to channel destructive light inside the beast. Still, danger lingered. Snake scales embedded in his body hissed with venom, revealing the serpent's cunning nature. The poison sought to paralyze, silent yet lethal. Fang Yi steadied himself, his inner flame and thunder resisting its effect. The serpent, however, had already claimed countless victims. Now, despite its hidden strength, Fang Yi's blazing power reduced it to ashes, ending its reign of terror. The flames consumed the remains of the serpent, its massive body reduced to ash under Fang Yi's thunder and inner fire. Though the battle was over, his senses remained sharp. He felt another presence nearby, hidden within the smoke. Stepping forward, he discovered a figure, Su Qingying, a member of the association, struggling to breathe amidst the chaos. Fang Yi recognized her immediately, noting that she had tried to feign unconsciousness. He called her out, observing that she had preserved her strength with a thin layer of spiritual aura. Startled, Su Qingying admitted she had only barely survived the battle's aftershock. She could not comprehend how Fang Yi had defeated both Zhu Yi and the monstrous serpent. Fang Yi warned her to keep his identity secret, softening his tone compared to their past encounter. With a brief word of reassurance, he prepared to leave, not wishing to draw more attention. Su Qingying called out, but he was already gone into the night, his figure vanishing into the shadows. Left behind, Su Qingying gathered her shaken team. One of her comrades regained conscious panic and revealed they had been ambushed. Around them, the battlefield still smoldered with the remnants of the deadly fight. Fang Yi had already ended alone. The battlefield still crackled with destructive force as Su Qingying's team arrived. Stunned by the overwhelming energy left behind, they questioned the source, unable to believe a single person could produce such devastating yang and thunder attributes. To them, it seemed impossible. Two top-tier powers combined in one man. The remains of the serpent and Zhu Yi bore witness to the carnage, flames and light intertwining across the ruin. Su Qingying alone knew the truth. Fang Yi had fought alone. To the others, he was a mystery, an unknown monster, a genius beyond reason. His power left them both awed and fearful. The aftermath of the battle drew investigators from the association. Vehicles arrived outside the factory as agents entered to examine the devastation. Su Qingying, still recovering, was relieved to reunite with her team, who had feared she had perished. The investigators quickly set about their task, scanning lingering spirit energy, analyzing traces, and piecing together what had occurred. Their assessment soon pointed to a startling conclusion. The anomalies had likely been defeated by a single individual. The captains present realized the implication. Defeating Zhu Yi and the giant serpent alone meant encountering a dual high-attribute vanguard, a rarity that could shift the balance of power. Su Qingying quietly acknowledged her target had resurfaced, her thoughts unsettled by the overwhelming gap in strength. Reporting to headquarters, she was instructed to suspend her mission. As her leaders debated how best to respond, discussions at higher levels revealed theories of a mysterious figure wielding unimaginable power, possibly even tied to a spirit weapon. Yet the possibility of such strength residing solely within one body unsettled them further. Meanwhile, Fang Yi remained unseen, reflecting alone. He was aware that the spiritual awakening was approaching, and with it, disturbances were worsening. The world was edging closer to chaos. Fang Yi continued his sharpening the bond between his body and spirit power. More vanguards like him were rising independent, developing strength without formal recognition, and even reaching higher stages of combat ability. The government adopted a cautious stance, tolerating these wild vanguards while maintaining observation. For now, anomalies remained manageable, and no major conflicts had erupted. In the city, the Spirit Energy Cultivation Association tried to balance public awareness and control. Warnings spread, yet the government avoided openly declaring the cultivation era, fearing panic and unrest. Fang Yi recognized the danger. Fear could be more destructive than monsters themselves. Amid this fragile peace, he questioned whether the recent riots had been random or deliberately instigated. Reports of powerful anomalies confirmed his suspicion. Some carried high attributes capable of devastating entire regions, and their sudden appearances hinted at hidden schemes. Fang Yi acknowledged that his dual powers, flame and thunder, might be the key to countering them, but he also knew his current strength was not enough. As he reflected, a call interrupted his thoughts. His aunt reached out unexpectedly, asking him to host a cousin he barely remembered. Though surprised, Fang Yi agreed, unaware of how this new arrival would shift the path ahead. Late at night, the girl scrolled through disturbing news reports of Yangwo Town, its name now tied to gruesome disappearances. Uneasy, she hesitated to leave the safety of her hotel, but her guardian insisted she move in with her cousin. Though reluctant, she agreed. Convinced it would be safe, dressed in her hood and mask, she resolved to face the change one step at a time. The next morning, she set out, suitcase in hand, following the map on her phone. Reaching her destination, she looked up at the building, murmuring that this must be the place. Lin Yi arrived at Fang Yi's residence for the summer camp, where the two cousins exchanged polite greetings. He handed Lin Yi a spare key and showed her around, maintaining a courteous and calm demeanor. While her surface behavior seemed perfect, Fang Yi sensed something deeper. Later, he observed faint traces of spiritual energy emanating from her body, confirming his suspicion that she was a cultivator. Lin Yi, meanwhile, reviewed encrypted information on a digital tablet, checking updates related to a mysterious phenomenon. She kept her activities hidden, cautious not to alert Fang Yi. Despite his intentions to train quietly, Fang Yi found life with his cousin full of disruption. Her routine presence and care constantly interrupted his meditation. Practicing the Golden Sunday breathing technique became risky, as its energy release could easily expose his secret. Lin Yi continued managing household tasks flawlessly, while Fang Yi acted respectfully to maintain trust. At dinner, a message on Lin Yi's phone caught her off guard. Fang Yi noticed the shift, but pretended not to question. That night, Lin Yi received word of a rare spatial energy event. Secretly, she prepared to leave. Unbeknownst to her, Fang Yi followed silently, confirming her identity as another participant in the spiritual energy revival. Fang Yi discreetly observed Lin Yi, meditating as waves of spiritual energy surged around her. Though concealed, his presence went unnoticed thanks to her focused state. He confirmed she wasn't just experimenting, she was actively preparing for a major spiritual event. Her reason for joining the summer camp aligned too closely with the rumored appearance of a spiritual anomaly in Yangwo town by dawn. Lin Yi sensed something was off but dismissed it. She later joined her group in Yangwo, greeted casually by friends. One woman, Lady Fang, teasingly asked about her cousin. Fang Yi Lin Yi downplayed him as average, concealing both his presence and abilities. As the group gathered, their leader called the team to action, noting that one powerful member was still absent. Meanwhile, Fang Yi quietly observed from a nearby rooftop, assessing their strength. From his evaluation, the team held solid cultivators, though none surpassed his own level. Soon, a sudden phenomenon shocked the town. A massive vine descended from the sky, anchoring itself to a mountain. It resembled a scene from myth, like the beanstalk from a fairy tale. But this was real. The vine emitted intense, chaotic energy. Fang Yi recognized it immediately. An opportunity, a rare treasure beyond normal understanding, had appeared. Lin Yi's team arrived at the mysterious vine. Awed by its towering form, hesitation grew as one member sensed danger. Tales of a previous team that vanished inside surfaced. Despite warnings and visible remains, curiosity led them forward into a strange, pulsating space where no corpses were ever found again. As the team approached the giant vine, its ominous aura became undeniable. One team member confessed a growing fear, shaken by what seemed to be a new unknown Earth anomaly. Lin Yi acknowledged the unease they all shared. The vine exuded a desolate energy, as if draining life from its surroundings. Despite the threat, she reaffirmed their path as martial pioneers and called for courage. From a distance, Fang Yi monitored the group. He sensed intense death energy surrounding the vine. Although it should symbolize life, it felt life more like a spiritual corpse. Lin Yi ordered the team to prepare for sensing the energy, instructing them to spread out but remain visible. She positioned herself above and entered meditation. As she cultivated, her power surged. Spiritual energy erupted around her, reaching the threshold of a breakthrough. Her companions watched in awe as she achieved Ghost Axe Realm 3-star. However, the vine responded. It began to move, sensing the disturbance. The team panicked as the vine advanced aggressively toward them, its desolate aura intensified. Lin Yi remained still in deep focus while others struggled to hold back the vine's approach. With time running out, they realized her energy spike had triggered the threat, and now they had to protect her. As panic spread through the group, Lady Fang urged retreat, fearing death was certain if they stayed. Another refused to abandon Lin Yi, declaring loyalty over logic. Meanwhile, Fang Yi observed the chaos below. Though Lin Yi's power had grown, she was still mid-breakthrough, completely exposed. Recognizing the danger, Fang Yi recalled his promise to protect her and prepared to intervene. The vine's tendrils lashed out, snatching Lady Fang mid-air. Lin Yi remained seated in deep meditation, unaware of the chaos surrounding her. As the threat closed in, Fang Yi descended with overwhelming force, cloaked in golden energy. His arrival sent shockwaves through the forest, splitting the ground and halting the vine's advance. The vine, for the first time, retreated. Those who witnessed the attack were stunned. The power Fang Yi displayed surpassed what they believed possible. His extreme yang attribute aura clashed violently against the vine's desolate energy, neutralized. Even seasoned cultivators on the scene were awestruck, comparing their talents to his and feeling dwarfed. As he hovered above, radiating unmatched strength, murmurs rose among the group. If this was a forerunner, then what were they? Fang Yi's overwhelming presence forced everyone to reconsider the meaning of power. Fang Yi unlocks everlasting vitality, an extreme wood attribute technique that heals rapidly by absorbing nearby life force without pause. Fang Yi stood in silence as a green aura enveloped him, extracting the vine's essence. The desolation attribute was transferred to him, allowing him to emit a destructive aura that corroded surrounding life. As energy surged through his body, his eyes glowed with intensity. He recognized the vine's danger. It thrived only in remote, hostile terrain because its nature would devastate any nearby life. Now, he had absorbed its power. After the battle, Lady Fang thanked, unaware he had used their battle to his advantage. He accepted their gratitude, but departed quickly, feeling no need for repayment to him. The real gain was the life force and attribute extracted. Observing their internal tension, Fang Yi chose not to interfere further. The group, now leaderless, realized the best choice was to stick together. Lin Yi finally regained consciousness. Confused and disoriented, she tried to recall what happened as the others explained the event and the mysterious man who had saved them. Lady Fang traced remnants of powerful yang energy and recounted the clash. They discussed how the unbreakable vine had retreated from a single slash by Fang Yi. Even after he left, his presence lingered, deterring the threat entirely. Lin Yi returned home, physically unharmed but mentally drained from recent cultivation breakthroughs. She tried to resume a normal routine, yet the pressure of evolving power and the changing world weighed heavily. As she rested, confronted, she acknowledged that she was no longer an ordinary person, and her path now diverged, far from that of an average life. Suddenly, Lin Yi received a message from a contact named Garan, someone who had never spoken in the group before. Garan warned the group to report any traces of the powerful figure who had saved. Another member speculated whether this person was the same being who had once confronted the Dark River Molten Dragon, a force even top pioneers dared not face. If so, encountering him again could be catastrophic. Meanwhile, Fang Yi biked alone under the night sky. Reflecting on his next steps, he recognized that the desolation attribute he absorbed was powerful but unstable. To fully control it, he needed a compatible plant source. His thoughts turned toward a vine that had once descended from the sky. He entered the city forest and selected a spiritually responsive plant. Initiating energy flow, he triggered its reaction, but it wasn't enough. His hunger for more power persisted. The process had just begun. Fang Yi discovered a glowing flower radiating spiritual energy. Recognizing its potential, he confirmed it was suitable to host the desolation attribute. With determination, he initiated the forceful implantation, channeling green energy into the plant. The chosen flower began to transform, becoming the vessel for the powerful attribute within his control. A beam of green light pierced the forest floor, striking the earth with violent force. Fang Yi, standing nearby, witnessed a strange phenomenon as an unusual plant burst from the ground. Its budding form glowed faintly, rapidly blooming into a radiant lotus. In seconds, it transformed, emitting waves of spiritual energy that crackled through the air. Like light, the flower's growth accelerated unnaturally, spreading massive green tendrils outward. The terrain around it withered instantly, as if drained of life. Fang Yi observed carefully. The plant was not just evolving, but corrupting the forest. Its vitality was overwhelming, radiating desolation with every pulse. Recognizing the threat, Fang Yi uprooted it. Strangely, it continued absorbing energy, even without roots. Curious, he noted its resilience, recalling how this location once nurtured wildflowers, but now spawned something far more potent. Moments later, his warning system triggered. Spiritual readings exceeded safe limits. Realizing the danger, he fled. Elsewhere, the abnormal surge caught attention. At a research facility, experts sounded alarm. Military units were dispatched as the spirit chi anomaly spiked to unprecedented level. Upon arrival, soldiers found the land lifeless. Investigators advanced cautiously until one halted them. The energy was of the desolation attribute, a force unknown and feared. The investigation team advanced deeper into the forest, guided by traces of withering energy. A senior officer identified the threat, a vine mutation classified as a level, due to its lethality. Its core had absorbed countless lives, converting the ground into a death zone through the desolation attribute. Any life stepping into its aura was instantly devoured. The team recalled past incidents of desolation-type flora, including a deadly tree in Gang City that killed anything approaching. Such plants had now become the most feared among known mutations. With this new vine's emergence, they confirmed another source had awakened. As command was given, researchers and soldiers pushed into the contaminated zone. The energy reading, once extreme, had sharply declined, leaving behind no source. What puzzled them further was the absence of roots. The plant had been taken. Theories surfaced about a cultivator extracting it undetected. Su Qingying analyzed field data, confirming someone had removed the object moments before arrival. A profile emerged. Fang Yi. His earlier presence now made sense. All signs pointed to him as the one responsible for triggering and suppressing the anomaly. With orders passed on, the decision on how to deal with him now rested in the hands of Su Qingying's association. 2 hours after retrieving the desolation attribute plant, Fang Yi calmly observed it on his table. Despite its deadly nature, it appeared docile, almost clingy. He acknowledged its potential, recognizing that beneath its harmless form lay immense hidden power. At that moment, he received a call. An old friend, Wang Liang, who had vanished years ago after joining the army. Surprised by the sudden reunion, Fang Yi agreed to meet. Meanwhile, Su Qingying reported back to her superiors, requesting Fang Yi's safety if he wasn't their target. Her concern was met with cold indifference. The commanding officer reminded her to stay focused. If he's not the one, offer a warning. But no interference would be tolerated. The mission's priority remained absolute. Fang Yi reunited with Wang Liang over drinks. Reflecting on the years since they last met, Wang appeared matured by his military experience, though haunted by its weight. Fang Yi, recalling his past life, knew that Wang Liang had once died in battle, unknown and unremembered. Now, given a second chance, Fang Yi wondered if he could alter that fate. Wang Liang soon shifted the tone, asking about spiritual events and strange phenomena. Fang Yi sensed a hidden motive in his friend's question. As their conversation deepened, Wang Liang revealed classified knowledge in the near future. Spiritual energy would render existing education and institutions obsolete. Only elite units would access this new era. Wang Liang admitted he had been sent to monitor Fang Yi, suggesting suspicion from higher-ups. Just then, an urgent recall order arrived. Wang Liang was deployed immediately. Apologizing before rushing off, Fang Yi, determined to understand the truth, decided to follow. They arrived at a heavily secured base, its spiritual energy dense and overwhelming. A live demonstration unfolded as soldiers activated their abilities. A training exercise spiraled into chaos. An anomaly exploded from the formation, striking multiple soldiers in an instant. Fang Yi realized the revival of spiritual energy wasn't coming. It had already begun. Fang Yi and Commander Jilan assessed the aftermath of the anomaly. The creature they faced possessed a rare fusion attribute, an unstable unstable mix of two powers that made it unpredictable and deadly. Several soldiers were already injured, and the threat level had escalated. Jilan ordered immediate mobilization, calling Wang Liang to form the battle line, despite Fang Yi's lack of clearance. As chaos erupted, elite fighters engaged the creature, unleashing spiritual ability. However, the enemy retaliated fiercely. From the darkness emerged a monstrous hound, mutated beyond its original form, its aura violently unstable. Jilan coordinated attacks, but the beast's evolution accelerated mid-battle. The situation grew dire. Fang Yi watched from the rear, sensing the creature had completed a rare dual attribute fusion. Its power surged uncontrollably, forcing Jilan to restrict further engagement. Wang Liang pressed forward and was quickly struck down, heavily wounded. Fang Yi's eyes sparked with lightning energy, his instincts flaring. Seeing his friend fall reignited his resolve. Jilan immediately upgraded the threat level to S class. The entire command structure shifted to emergency combat protocol. As Fang Yi prepared to act, the battlefield had become a war zone, where even elite forces were barely holding the line. Wang Liang collapsed, bleeding and weakened from spiritual energy backlash. Despite his condition, he urged Fang Yi not to worry. Meanwhile, Jilan rallied the troops, declaring they must stop the variant at all costs. As the monstrous hound surged forward, Fang Yi stepped in, lightning radiating from his body, ready to unleash his power against the overwhelming threat. Fang Yi unleashed a storm of divine thunder upon the monstrous enemy before him. Surrounded by violent lightning, his power tore through the darkness, forcing the beast to recoil under the overwhelming force. The battlefield cracked under the pressure as Fang Yi descended with focused precision, striking with a surge that exploded into brilliant energy. From a distance, officers, including Wang Liang, watched in awe. The destructive force confirmed their suspicion. This was no ordinary anomaly. One officer hesitantly asked if Fang Yi could truly be the tyrant foretold in their record. Jilan affirmed it. There was no mistake. Fang Yi stood alone in the crater, cloaked in power and light, unchallenged. Despite defeating a formidable enemy, Fang Yi realized the threat was not yet eliminated. He ordered the others to fall back. Jilan observed the battle closely, stunned by the raw, extreme manifestation of the lightning attribute. Even within the Xia nation, such power was unprecedented. As Fang Yi rose into the air, his aura radiated dominance. Observers felt the pressure. He was evolving beyond imagination. When the dust settled, Wang Liang rushed to him. With tensions eased, Jilan personally thanked Fang Yi, now fully recognized as the tyrant. After the battle, Fang Yi downplayed his efforts, calling it a favor for a friend. Jilan, now properly introducing herself as the commander of Forbidden Zone 019, requested his contact for official reporting. She was impressed by his unmatched strength, noting it surpassed most specially recruited foreign fighters. Though tempted to invite him into the Xia nation's army, she admitted her authority alone wasn't enough. Recognizing his immense talent, Jilan believed higher-ups would soon approach him direct. Fang Yi, humble but resolute, expressed his admiration for the military's actions today, saying it changed his perception. He offered to assist in the future. Under one condition, his cultivation must remain unrestricted. As Jilan prepared to leave, Fang Yi reflected on the military's true role, not just warriors, but defenders of peace, shielding the common people from dangerous anomalies. Wang Liang and others, witnessing Fang Yi's unmatched abilities, acknowledged that today's display was only a fraction of his strength. Later that night, Fang Yi evaluated the situation alone. He understood that the army and spiritual union wouldn't pressure him, but aimed to recruit him through influence. With power, status, and secrets within reach, Fang Yi began understanding his growing value and the system behind it. As night fell over the city, the authorities continued protecting civilians while cultivating spiritual zones. Within one such zone, Fang Yi immersed himself in golden energy, feeling spiritual power surge through him. Unlike before, this place accelerated his growth rapidly, signaling an imminent breakthrough. Elsewhere, Lin Yi sensed the intense energy erupting in the distance. Shocked, she recognized it as a ghost axe stage fluctuation, yet far stronger. From the heavens, a golden beam split the sky. The aura wasn't just powerful, it was overwhelming. Observers realized the truth. A forerunner like Fang Yi was breaking into the spirit-forming stage. A powerful surge of spirit energy erupted in the city as Fang Yi completed a sudden breakthrough into the spirit creation realm. The shockwave lit up the sky, drawing immediate attention from surveillance forces and triggering emergency alerts across multiple sectors. Observers, including Su Qingying, quickly recognized the abnormal intensity, estimating it strong enough to collapse half the city if uncontrolled. The military and spirit authorities debated whether this event marked a new pioneer's rise or the onset of catastrophe. Acting swiftly, they mobilized resources to investigate. Meanwhile, unaware of the surrounding commotion, Fang Yi noted his own quiet transformation. Though the process felt subtle, the results were undeniable. Later, as he reviewed incoming reports, Fang Yi learned of another fire anomaly at Qingcheng University. His contact, Wang Liang, warned him about the risks of standing out. Reflecting on this, Fang Yi acknowledged the danger of revealing his Sunday Flame attribute and chose to keep it hidden for now. At home, Lin Yi returned with food, unaware her cousin had just caused a citywide disruption. She viewed him as lazy and uninspired, while he quietly monitored a new fire-related anomaly. Suspecting Jilan's involvement, Fang Yi considered reaching out to her for a closer investigation. News of the university fire spread rapidly, yet official channels remained silent. Civilians speculated about the destruction as Fang Yi and Jilan approached the sealed campus. The onlookers whispered, unsure who they were, but sensed their authority. Inside, the aftermath of the blaze, officially dubbed Heavenly Fire, left scorched earth and thick smoke. Jilan confirmed its terrifying property, uncontrollable, unstoppable, and without warning. Jilan proceeded to the principal's office, while Fang Yi stayed behind to investigate. He noticed the burn zone had cooled unusually fast, with lingering energy traces vanishing too quickly to be natural. Suspicious, he sensed deeper anomaly. At the scene, he unexpectedly encountered Chu Qingli, his ex-girlfriend, now standing with her elite peers. One recognized Fang Yi, linking him to Chu Qingli's past. As whispers spread, ridicule followed, questioning why he, once rejected and seen as unremarkable, had returned. Despite the hostility, Jilan returned and calmly identified him as just a classmate. Her composed demeanor confused onlookers, who were already shaken by her powerful presence. When Jilan spoke with the staff, her authority was absolute. Even the elusive school principal, rarely seen by anyone personally, appeared, his arrival signaling that both Jilan and Fang Yi were far from ordinary visitors. The principal personally welcomed Fang Yi, mistaking him for an elite operative sent to handle the incident. This shocked the onlookers, especially Chu Qingli, who felt completely ignored. Whispers spread among students, speculating about Fang Yi's powerful status. Isolated and humiliated, Chu Qingli realized how far apart their worlds had grown since they last met. At Qingqing University, strange fires began erupting across the campus. Starting at a playground near the north gate, the incidents escalated quickly. Flames fell from the sky, and the fires behaved unnaturally. While some outbreaks were suppressed, one particular site remained active. Fang Yi joined Jilan and the principal to inspect the scene. A basketball hoop marked the fire's origin, and a detection device revealed the spirit energy levels were far beyond the safe threshold. The reading soared from 60 to 110, indicating a crisis-level anomaly. Before anyone could react, Fang Yi leapt into the flames alone. The others were left stunned, questioning his chances of survival. Inside, Fang Yi activated his Sunday Flame attribute, using it to shield himself from the fire's intense energy. As he approached the core, he realized the anomaly behaved like a conscious entity. Determined to resolve the situation, Fang Yi summoned his own flame tech, Golden Sunday Protection, and confronted the flaming beast. The elemental clash sent shockwaves through the air. Detection equipment outside picked up massive fluctuation. Despite the overwhelming pressure, Fang Yi held firm. He focused all his strength on absorbing the primordial flame at the center, determined to take control before it consumed everything. Within the inferno, Fang Yi initiated a powerful computation. The system responded by granting him the Nine-Dragon Heavenly Fire Sealing Technique, a divine-level ability capable of purging evil. Without the need for training, the technique unlocked instantly. As the flames roared around him, he invoked the skill. Massive fiery dragons surged forth, swirling around his body in a binding formation. With absolute focus, Fang Yi activated the seal. The energy manifested into blazing chains that surrounded the source of the heavenly fire. Jilan, observing from outside, sensed the overwhelming aura of a true sealing force. The firestorm finally collapsed into submission as the sealing formation locked into place, stabilizing the area. Exiting the scorched playground, Fang Yi delivered the sealed core into containment. He instructed the others to leave the site untouched, to prevent further outbreaks. Jilan, impressed by his composure, acknowledged his strength but noted how well he had hidden. Fang Yi remained modest, attributing the success to the unique situation. Recognizing his potential, Jilan proposed a deeper conversation. She emphasized that in the coming upheaval, talents like him would be crucial. Whether the military or spirit association, everyone would soon compete to recruit Fang Yi as a strategic asset. Jilan subtly urged Fang Yi to consider joining the military, hinting at powerful restricted zones and elite units. Though curious, Fang Yi remained cautious as they walked. His thoughts turned inward. He realized the heavenly fire he absorbed perfectly matched his scarlet flame sword. With this synergy, he saw his power rising beyond current pioneers, ready for what's coming. Fang Yi entered the restricted back mount, a place marked as off-limits by military command. He found it curious. Only the Aura Association knew of his presence. Suspecting it was arranged for his training, he accepted the isolation. Deep in the woods, he sensed something hostile. A beast with a faint, familiar aura watched him from above. Though not as powerful as the previous monster he had faced, this one was more cunning, hesitating before attacking. Recognizing the danger, Fang Yi activated the Heavenly Fire, a light-based attribute capable of destroying evil. Flames engulfed his weapon as he faced the approaching threat. His body ignited with unquenchable fire as he prepared to strike. He unleashed the Flame Blade art, now in hand more destructive than before. The beast had no chance. Consumed by flames and sliced with force, it let out a final scream. Assessing the result, Fang Yi noted the power surge in his attack. Surprisingly, the flame's energy left him unaffected. Meanwhile, a female streamer wandered nearby, live broadcasting her first day. Suddenly, the defeated beast, or another like it, emerged, ambushing her. Her scream echoed through the forest as the creature struck, claws tearing through her shoulder before dragging her off. Just as the beast lunged at the injured streamer, a blazing surge of fire engulfed it midair. Fang Yi's heavenly flame consumed the creature with overwhelming force, stunning both the monster and the viewers watching the livestream. The girl's life was spared in seconds, and the fiery display instantly drew massive online attention, shooting the viewer count beyond 13,000. Standing unharmed amid the fire, Fang Yi's figure emerged from the flames. The blade in his hand glowed with divine light as he delivered a strike so powerful it tore the sky itself. The internet exploded, flooded with reactions calling him an immortal savior. In distant locations, stunned observers began to suspect his identity. Some dismissed it as visual effects. Others, like Chu Qingli, remembered the stranger who once saved them and began connecting the dots. Military leaders, alarmed by the leak, held urgent discussion. They confirmed that the one in the video matched Fang Yi, now known to possess multiple high-level attributes. With the nation in crisis, they planned to approach him directly, offering advanced weapons and cultivation support. Across the nation, spiritual leaders and political powers alike turned their attention toward Fang Yi, believing he might be Xia Nation's long-awaited hope. Fang Yi noticed the viral video was erased and grew concerned when Lin Yi didn't return or respond. Sensing danger, he set out to find her. Meanwhile, Lin Yi and Lady Fang wandered lost in a foggy forest, drained and cornered by dark fan. Despite her regret, Lin Yi vowed to endure, yearning for strength like the man who once saved her. The group was caught off guard as monstrous figures lunged from the shadows. One of the women shouted for caution, summoning energy to form a glowing barrier that deflected the creature's attack. The ground trembled as the beast crashed against her shield. They realized the attackers were not ordinary enemies, but twisted remains of people who had once been trapped and beaten to death in this place. The two women stood surrounded by black mist. They spoke quickly, analyzing their situation. The mist nullified their attacks, dragging them into a battle of attrition. It was as though the enemy wanted to exhaust their strength before consuming them. Within this domain, the monster seemed untouchable. Then, from the darkness, a massive red eye emerged, glaring at them with overwhelming pressure. One of them lashed out, cursing and striking with all her might, but the other noticed the creature's patience thinning, warning her not to lower her guard. More crimson eyes lit up, filling the void around them. The woman stared at the sea of eyes, her body tense. She wondered if this would be the end. Darkness closed in, cutting off her ally's voice. Regret filled her heart. She blamed herself for rushing into the mission with overconfidence. Thoughts of the cultivation path's dangers weighed on her, and she feared she might vanish namelessly here. As despair grew, she raised her hand toward the looming abyss. Just then, blinding blue light split the darkness. A figure appeared. She gasped. Her cousin had arrived. Barely in time, Fang Yi faced the red-eyed creature with calm resolve. Seeing it radiate dark energy, he welcomed the opportunity to test his flame technique. Perfect, he muttered, summoning blazing fire. With one sharp motion, he unleashed red fireblade, slicing through the monstrous being. The beast shrieked in pain as fire engulfed it. Elsewhere, the two women watched the roaring flames, stunned. "Yi, have we already died?" one whispered, but they soon realized they were unharmed. As the fire settled, they saw Fang Yi standing nearby, casual and composed, shocked but relieved. They pieced it together. The man before them was the same mysterious savior who once rescued them from death vines in Yangwo town. "You're the one, aren't you?" one of them exclaimed. Yi, realizing it was her cousin, confirmed it quietly. The other girl was amazed. "That fire, a tribute powerhouse, is your cousin? I thought you said he was mediocre." They recounted his achievements, defeating Ghost Axe, drawing attention from high-level cultivators, and breaking through enemy defenses. What stunned them most was his dual elemental affinity, thunder and fire. That kind of talent was unheard of. Yi flustered. Admitted she'd underestimated him. Fang Yi listened, but remained focused. He asked where their teammates were, only to learn that their group was disorganized and scattered. With growing doubt about the reliability of their team, Fang Yi turned to them and proposed something unexpected, forming a new team. But keeping his identity secret, both girls agreed without hesitation. Yi looked at her cousin with admiration. She realized he had likely recognized her strength long ago, but chose to protect her quietly. In a world where trust was rare, having a relative who supported her without asking for anything in return brought her rare comfort. "It's such a joyful thing," she thought, grinning. She added jokingly, "I'll fry 2 extra eggs for you at dinner." Suddenly, her teammate called out. A new message appeared. Sister Jillian had posted a mission to the extreme dark zone. The details were brief but urgent. Collect mission items from the zone, but think carefully before signing up. Fang Yi asked if they knew the area. Yi explained it was a forbidden border area, shrouded in overwhelming dark power. Most anomalies in the city were linked to it, and serious accidents had occurred during previous missions. Jialan, known for her secrecy, had never given such detailed instructions. This mission might involve an S-class anomaly, and the death rate was high, yet she insisted it was best for strong and reliable pioneers. Fang Yi smiled, already sensing her intent. "Looks like she's hinting at me," he said. The extreme dark zone had caught his interest. Jaylan received a message warning her of the high-risk S-rank mission ahead. Despite concerns, she remained confident a reliable pioneer would join. Her current team of 3 awaited confirmation, knowing the mission's difficulty could overwhelm unprepared teams. They were tasked with retrieving the withered grace flower, an item whose importance extended far beyond its appearance. This flower, hidden in dangerous areas, held the key to strengthening Xia Nation's martial force. The mission's success would determine the survival of pioneers and even top-tier warriors. On a train ride, civilians unknowingly crossed paths with those risking their lives for national preservation. Meanwhile, a veteran lay unconscious in critical condition. The teacher, Xia Nation's only Diamond Realm pioneer, could only be revived using the flower. Jie Lan knew the cost might be high. Sacrifices would be inevitable, but for a weapon of such diplomatic value, it was justified. Despite being reminded her life was important, she emotionally rejected the notion, valuing her comrades as sacrifices above her own. Memories of fallen teammates weighed heavily. In the field, under attack, the Swordbreaker squad ordered a retreat, yet Jie Lan stayed. Her comrades entrusted her with their spirit power, but she realized too late, if the flower was tainted by blood, it would be useless. Nearly 2 hours into their trek, Fang Yi, Lady Fang, and Lin Yi reached the outer perimeter of the pitch-black zone. The terrain was barren, and the oppressive atmosphere grew heavier. Flying wasn't an option. Spirit chi density prevented most abilities. As they neared the glowing barrier, the aura of dark energy grew overwhelming. Fang Yi recognized its pressure. It was exponentially stronger than anything they had encountered before. Surprisingly, they weren't alone. Dozens of pioneers had gathered. Some were drawn by rewards, but many were motivated by the growing frequency of dark attribute outbreaks. Once rare and confined, these anomalies now surfaced in cities, posing a national threat. Fang Yi reflected on his past encounters with these creatures, twisted beasts, like the mutated rabbit, and an intelligent snake anomaly. The growing boldness of these entities signaled a shift. As their team approached the barrier gate, they caught the attention of others. Among them was Captain Su, from the Spirit Chi Association, who appeared flustered upon seeing Fang Yi. Whispers and misunderstandings followed, especially when others speculated about Lin Yi's relationship to him. Fang Yi dismissed the confusion, clarifying her role, but tension rose when another group mocked them as inexperienced kids, underestimating their resolve. Tensions rose at the barrier as a seasoned warrior mocked the younger pioneers, questioning their strength and survival chances. Lady Fang defended her team fiercely, but the argument ended abruptly when a transport arrived. From it stepped Jie Lan, drawing immediate awe. Her presence alone silenced the crowd. Recognized instantly by veterans and newcomers alike, Jie Lan's arrival signaled the beginning of the mission. With measured steps, she approached the massive gate shielding the pitch-black zone. Raising her hand, she activated the mechanism, channeling powerful energy. The barrier pulsed violently, then split open with blinding light and thunderous force. As dark forces stirred on the other side, a chilling thought echoed through the air, announcing that the gate had opened. As the crimson portal pulsed ominously, the gatekeeper declared it ready. Fang Yi and a group of elite cultivators gathered before the swirling entrance. They were warned the mission required retrieving the withered bloom untouched by human blood. Doubt and frustration circulated among the recruits, but orders were clear. Stepping through the dark threshold, they entered the extreme dark zone. Inside, a suffocating, lifeless land stretched endlessly. Trees lay dead, and the air reeked of decay. The environment's darkness attribute clouded their senses. Fang Yi, staying alert, advised the group to stay close, or they risk being lost. The stench, rotting corpses blended with brain fluid, overwhelmed many. Even seasoned fighters vomited from the toxicity. Captain Su explained the deeper threat. The darkness attribute naturally suppressed spiritual power. Pollution was everywhere, and anomalies thrived here. Fang Yi mentally classified the danger. B-class anomalies were manageable, but within this zone, their power would rise a tier. S-class threats, usually rare, were now common, their forms grotesque and lethal. Despite the danger, the team advanced. Su reassured her teammates of her squad's resilience. She revealed her recent breakthrough, reaching Axe Realm 3-star and mutating her water ability into ice. Fang Yi admitted his aura had weakened from the zone's corruption. With their strengths challenged, they pressed forward, silhouettes vanishing into the fog. Fang Yi and his team reached a critical area deep within the extreme dark zone. He instructed the squad to conserve energy and remain focused. The environment remained oppressive, but Fang Yi noticed that his own condition hadn't worsened, likely due to his enchanted aura, or perhaps his recent advancement into the spirit-forging realm. Elsewhere, combat erupted as another squad engaged anomalies, easily dispatching them. Their confidence swelled as they underestimated the threat level. Back with Fang Yi's team, danger shifted focus. Rival groups had set their eyes on the withered bloom. A pair of aggressive fighters charged toward it, hoping to outpace the younger team. Lin Yi suddenly collapsed from the toxic air, prompting Fang Yi to show concern, noting she was still inexperienced. As she recovered, her presence seemed to emit a rare warmth, soothing the others. It was revealed that she possessed a fire. No, a Sunday attribute. Fang Yi corrected the misassumption, explaining his own affinity for the Sunday, and clarified his past exploits involving elemental manipulation. He also hinted at a hidden desolation attribute. Lady Fang and others were impressed, and even joked about keeping close for warmth. Soon, other squads followed, forming huddles to share warmth through aura resonance. Captain Su and her team hesitated, but ultimately joined in, feeling relief. Spirits lifted, however, briefly, as light flickered through the corrupted gloom. Suddenly, ominous growls echoed from the mist. Fang Yi's senses sharpened. An anomaly was approaching. Captain Su reacted swiftly, launching forward with her ice-infused strike. But it was too late. A massive beast with glowing red eyes burst from the fog, charging toward Lady Fang. The team barely had time to regroup as more figures emerged, twisted, corrupted humanoids with dead eyes. Captain Su warned that it was an A-class anomaly and rushed to intercept. Her attack landed, but the creature vanished into darkness, confused. They turned only to find themselves surrounded. Red-eyed anomalies closed in from all sides, shrieking and advancing with relentless pace. Fang Yi stepped forward calmly. With firm authority, he told his team to stand back. His body ignited with radiant power, the Sunday attribute flaring to life. In an instant, a blazing eruption incinerated the approaching wave. Screams were swallowed by searing flames. Fang Yi stood unshaken in the center of the inferno, declaring the immediate threat neutralized. As calm returned, he explained that the group had only encountered 2 actual anomalies. The rest were illusions or lesser constructs. Captain Su noted how one anomaly even mimicked human speech, hinting at its terrifying evolution. Even the weakest among them had reached a class level under the zone's corruption. The battle had only just begun, and the real threat still loomed. Following the brutal encounter, the group regrouped, shaken but alive. Captain Su warned of the evolving threat. Anomalies could now mimic human behavior, making them harder to detect. Fang Yi advised the team to tighten formation, fearing an ambush from disguised foes. Lady Fang, still overwhelmed by Fang Yi's aura, struggled to recover, affected by the suppression effect of his higher realm. Suddenly, Lin Yi paused, pointing out an unusual sound resembling ocean waves. Before anyone could respond, the ground trembled. Sinister energy erupted as ghostly shadows surged toward them. From the distance, terrified voices called out. Another squad was already in full retreat, shouting about ghosts and an overwhelming presence. Fang Yi stepped forward, his gaze narrowing. The sky darkened, and an ominous tide of black energy surged over the landscape. Veterans among the squad turned pale. This was no ordinary threat. It was the Dark Tide, a catastrophic phenomenon that had once decimated even legendary cultivators. As it approached, panic swept across the battlefield once again. The battlefield was consumed by a tide of black and crimson. A guard stood alone against a wave of twisted anomalies, his sword glowing green with spirit energy. As the red tide spread, swallowing weaker warriors, they activated his barrier, believing it could resist the corruption. But even the strongest defense trembled under the weight of the spreading force. From within the red mist, screams echoed as high-level fighters were devoured. The anomalies exceeded known ranks. Beyond A, even beyond S, panic set in as escape became impossible. Outside the destruction, a massive red wave rose over the horizon, overwhelming all in its path. Captain Su, observing from a distance, identified it. The Dark Tide, a corrosive dark attribute force that consumed everything, including the very anomalies within it. Despite plans meant to avoid the tide, entire squads had already been lost. Realizing the scale of danger, the group retreated within a spirit barrier. Su explained that while the barrier could hold temporarily, it would take combined strength to survive the next surge. Fang Yi refused to yield. With blue lightning and fire swirling around him, he declared his intention to destroy the Dark Tide itself. While others hesitated, he leapt directly into the core of the darkness, golden sword blazing, emerging within the storm. Fang Yi narrowed his eyes. Everything was unfolding exactly as he had expected. Fang Yi stood amid a monstrous swarm of fused anomalies. Creatures that once held individual forms, now grotesquely merged into unstable, composite beings. These weren't ordinary threats. They were mutated entities born from the Dark Tide's uncontrollable spread. Fang assessed their structure. They weren't just S-rank. They were something beyond, something the world hadn't prepared for. Unfazed, He launched himself into the horde, lightning surging from his palm. His blade tore through the darkness, blue arcs scattering corrupted mass. With each strike, another abomination fell. Flames followed, carving a burning path through enemies that would normally require entire squads to subdue. As he pushed deeper, Fang spotted a distorted figure, writhing within the black fog. Recognizing the partially assimilated soldier from earlier battles, he hesitated, then confirmed the man was still barely alive. Without delay, Fang summoned thunder once more and unleashed 100 refinements. A devastating burst that shattered the corruption clinging to the man's body. Dragging the survivor to safety, Fang confirmed his condition weak. But alive, he turned back to the field and saw it, something regenerating beyond comprehension. A new presence, vast and glowing with deep crimson energy, infinite regeneration, a trait of anomalies beyond even S rank. Calmly, Fang deactivated his barrier and attempted to analyze the entity. His systems failed. Its attribute was too unique. Not even spirit-shaping realm levels could extract it. The anomaly defied classification entirely. Surrounded by a horde of anomalies, Fang Yi acknowledged the limits of his power. He couldn't erase the darkness, nor absorb it. At least not directly, without his artifact. The white flower facing the tide on even ground was impossible. Yet he stood firm, golden energy radiating from him as the tide closed in. Back at the barrier, Captain Su and Yi observed an unnatural stillness. The dark tide had stopped moving. Suspicion turned to concern. Something unseen was unfolding deep within, and they could feel the pressure tightening around Fang Yi's spiritual field. Though uneasy, they reinforced his barrier with their own power, understanding that if Fang Yi fell, so would they all. Inside the tide, Fang Yi found clarity. If external tools failed, then he'd use the power already within him. Channeling his inner strength, he summoned a long seal technique, 9-dragon heavenly flame seal. Golden dragons erupted from his blade, spiraling upward as fire engulfed his body. He rose through the storm like a comet. Outside, eyes widened in awe. The burning seal crackled with divine heat as the dragon flames coiled around the core of the tide. A powerful vortex formed, imprisoning the dark force. The flames collapsed into a condensed golden prison. Silence followed. Someone gasped. Had Fang Yi actually sealed the dark tide? Fang Yi summoned the full force of thunder and flame, fusing divine lightning with the roaring fire of his 9-dragon seal. Energy spiraled around him, forming a colossal vortex of destruction and suppression. The golden inferno surged upward, wrapping tightly around the core of the sealed anomaly. With a thunderous cry, he commanded the seal to close. The dragon-shaped flames twisted and compressed the dark energy, locking it within a glowing orb of molten fire. Cracks of lightning laced its surface as the vortex collapsed inward. At last, the explosive aura faded. The dark tide's essence had been captured, contained by a technique forged from both will and power.
Fang Yi and his team discovered a wounded man amidst the aftermath of battle. His survival was a stroke of luck, suggesting they weren't too late. As the team assessed the scene, Captain Su took charge, directing his squad to handle the injured man and urging swift action. Despite sealing a high-level dark attribute, Fang Yi remained cautious. He explained the seal was temporary and they needed to retrieve the lost tempering flower before time ran out. The group pressed on, passing the remains of cultivators defeated by the dark attribute regardless of their power. Captain Su noted the danger, leaving Fang Yi to guard the rear while the rest advanced. The toll of the battle lingered in their silence alone. Fang Yi detected another intense dark attribute fluctuation. He approached cautiously, the air growing heavier. Fang Yi initiated a computational process as dark energy surged from the ground, engulfing him. He remained steady as the compilation finalized, his body glowing with dark energy lines. A message confirmed the acquisition of a dark technique, Boundless Dark Realm, granting him a sealed domain of spiritual suppression. Fang Yi analyzed the new technique, realizing it could drain his enemy's energy and suppress even stronger foes. Captain Su sensed the environment shift violently as black mist expanded, but Fang Yi remained unharmed, shocked. She wondered how Fang Yi could absorb a technique ranked level 8 with no limits. Something considered impossible. The story of dark attributes unfolded, once feared for causing calamity and corrupting spiritual realms. Authorities had tried purifying the attributes, but their experiments often led to disaster and the rise of anomalies. Some past researchers even attempted fusion, but the power overwhelmed them. Fang Yi, however, was an anomaly of his own. After sealing the dark tide, Fang Yi stood in silence, catching his breath as residual energy swirled faintly around him. Alert, he sensed another presence nearby and called out with confidence. Knowing he had been watched, a woman emerged, recognizing Fang Yi as the one responsible for sealing the dark tide. Her name, Galrin, caught everyone off guard. Fang Yi, calmly admitted to absorbing dark attributes, causing tension to rise within the group. Without warning, Galran aimed her weapon at him, prompting shock from Yi and Lady Fang. Captain Su questioned Galran's motives, recalling her previous interest in Fang Yi as a top candidate for recruitment. Fang Yi reminded them that their mission was to retrieve the lost tempering flower, not target allies. He confronted Galran's sudden hostility, implying she seemed disappointed by their survival. Lady Fang defended Fang Yi, highlighting his pivotal role in protecting them, while Galran stood composed and smiling, revealing it had all been a test. Lady Fang defended Fang Yi, highlighting his pivotal role in protecting them, while Galran expressed confusion, demanding to know what kind of test Galran was conducting. She admitted she came to assess Fang Yi, personally, not relying on reports alone. Galran explained she refrained from interfering earlier to evaluate Fang Yi's character and resolve under pressure. Galran elaborated that pioneers must operate by the harsh rules of spiritual resurgence, where life and death shift instantly. She emphasized Fang Yi's success, stating that enemies avoided them out of fear from his sealing of the dark tide. Acknowledging his strength, Galran offered to personally guide them to the lost tempering flower, trusting her knowledge of the terrain. Fang Yi and Captain Su grew wary of Galran's erratic behavior, recalling her trauma as the sole survivor of a previous dark tide encounter. Galran, walking ahead, seemed driven by more than duty. Her past sacrifices had twisted her sense of judgment. Despite everything, Fang Yi urged the others to be understanding, noting that Galran's injuries had clearly weakened her cultivation level. Galran's glowing aura betrayed the severity of her condition. Her spiritual barrier was badly damaged. Though clearly in pain, she acknowledged their concern with gratitude, masking the deeper toll on her body. As they followed her into the mist, a looming presence emerged, evidence of the extreme dark tide still festering nearby. The team moved together cautiously through the wasteland, their goal finally in sight. Fang Yi noticed signs of a previous battle, including skeletal remains and shattered gear scattered across the ground. They arrived at a cursed landmark, mass graveyard, where the lost tempering flower had last been reported. Amid the corrupted land, the lost tempering flower bloomed faintly, pulsing with spiritual energy. Galran stood silently before it, her gaze fixed as if seeing a memory reborn. From the bloodied earth, shadowy creatures emerged, drawn to the flower's energy as Galran whispered to it with familiarity. Fang Yi instantly sensed a shift in the air. Something was deeply wrong with the situation. He summoned his power, preparing for an ambush as the energy intensified uncontrollably around them. His comrades shouted for him to refocus, snapping him out of a trance, as flames erupted violently beneath him. Fang Yi's attack surged forward, infused with fierce yang energy, igniting the battlefield with explosive force. Galran lunged at Fang Yi with powerful strikes, but he remained still, untouched, surrounded by an aura of calm energy. Confused and unsettled, Galran questioned whether her rigorous training had been insufficient to match his strength. Captain Su and Yi rushed to Galran's side. Yi, noticing the corruption of dark energy, advised her to stay back. The group turned their attention to Fang Yi. Captain Su declared confidently that he alone was enough to retrieve the lost bloom. Fang Yi walked silently through the mist toward a glowing flower that emitted a faint blue light. Standing on a cliff, Fang Yi sensed danger approaching. His grip on the sword tightened. A monstrous, red-eyed beast leaped at him, jaws wide open with an ear-splitting roar. Fang Yi calmly raised his hand, conjuring divine lightning as blue energy sparked between his fingers. Lightning struck the beast with relentless fury, chaining across its limbs and forcing it back in agony. As the monster resisted, Fang Yi contemplated the fox demon's strength and the need to act swiftly. He summoned a powerful dark energy, activating his limitless dark domain to trap the beast. The dark domain enclosed them both, swirling with violent purple energy as the beast thrashed inside. The fox demon's body weakened, its form cracking under the pressure of the overwhelming darkness. The domain reduced its rank from S to B. Fang Yi observed calmly, noting the weakness of its cultivation. Fang Yi stepped forward with fire surging at his feet, ready to end the battle decisively. He unleashed a blazing attack that consumed the battlefield in a violent explosion, sealing the fight's outcome. Meanwhile, Galran and Captain Su observed his dark domain with surprise, sensing its distinct energy, unlike any dark attribute they'd felt before. Galran explained that Fang Yi's mastery allowed him to build his own domain, something even elite cultivators struggled to achieve. She recalled how only one master in the past had used a domain to suppress a major threat, though at great cost. Now, as Fang Yi's domain dispersed, the team watched in awe as he calmly emerged from the fading darkness. Approaching the glowing flower once more, Fang Yi reached out carefully, ensuring no threats remained nearby. He plucked the lost bloom from the ground, its energy gently flickering in his hands. Holding the flower securely, he confirmed the mission's success while Galran looked on with relief and respect. The group regrouped as the lost bloom was handed over, its small size belying its importance. They prepared to leave quickly, aware the unstable dark energy could erupt again at any moment. With the mission complete, Galran thanked Fang Yi, acknowledging that his actions made it all possible. Galran revealed that the lost bloom would save Elder Shu, the only person capable of stabilizing their nation's leader. Fang Yi quietly reflected on their journey as they finally stepped out of the dangerous zone. Cheers erupted from awaiting allies as they confirmed the success of the operation and the recovery of the lost bloom. Crowds gathered at the extraction site as the retrieval team emerged, the air heavy with curiosity and tension. Yi recognized the approaching vehicle as belonging to the Star God War Zone, the elite force of the Xia nation. Whispers spread rapidly as they realized Gowron held high-ranking status, and many felt embarrassed by their earlier disrespect. An officer carefully secured the lost bloom inside a containment cylinder designed for spiritual materials. In unison, soldiers saluted, acknowledging the successful return of the critical item and those who recovered it. Gowron confirmed delivery to the hospital, preparing to depart as the lost bloom was escorted under guard. Gowron walked alongside Fang Yi, asking about his background and hinting at recruitment into the elite forces. She praised his overwhelming strength, admitting it could surpass even their most capable squad members. Fang Yi declined the offer, expressing his intent to pursue personal matters before committing to any organization. Gowron explained the growing threat of dark anomalies and their devastating influence across the land. She emphasized the need to defend every region, urging strong individuals like Fang Yi to take part in the effort. Fang Yi acknowledged the urgency and promised to act if dark anomalies threatened the innocent again. Gowron smiled gently, acknowledging Fang Yi's resolve and the impact of his actions. She handed him a black token, granting access to any forbidden zone for future cultivation. With trust established, she invited Fang Yi to visit Elder Wu, hinting at a new journey about to begin. Fang Yi stood before the portal, discussing with Gowron about meeting a powerful martial master known as the King Kong Realm Venerable. Gowron expressed a personal wish to befriend Fang Yi and invited him on a trip, hoping their alliance could begin in friendship. Fang Yi agreed, offering his help. He reached out with glowing energy and presented a gift, the promise to purify his companion's dark attribute contamination. Lightning energy surged through Gowron's body as Fang Yi's power began cleansing the internal toxins left by dark influence. A numbing warmth spread across her limbs. What was once pain and cold turned into relief as the discomfort vanished. Her meridians and vessels, damaged by darkness, began to regenerate. It felt like her entire body was being reborn from within. Meanwhile, Captain Su inspected a wounded practitioner, baffled by the extent of injuries sustained by a spirit creation realm fighter. Gowron approached, and her improved condition surprised everyone. She credited the pure lightning attribute for completely removing the dark contamination. Captain Su realized the lightning attribute held more than destructive force. It had the ability to heal and restore as well. Captain Su summoned everyone to gather and proposed a collaborative effort to use spiritual power for healing. She suggested combining their strength to aid other pioneers suffering from dark attribute afflictions. Fang Yi demonstrated again, releasing his lightning energy to the group as everyone observed with anticipation and hope. A medical officer marveled at the effectiveness of Fang Yi's energy, confirming its potential to defeat the dark attribute. Gowron vouched for the results, recalling how the dark energy had been neutralized through direct transmission. However, another healer warned that not all spirit creation practitioners could endure such force. The healing required was immense and recovery wasn't guaranteed. Fang Yi agreed to share his spiritual power and was led by medical personnel to a device capable of storing it for later use. He placed his hand on the machine and began channeling his energy as instructed, with calm determination. Nearby, Yi observed in awe, realizing that even Gowron, a powerful Star God War Zone official, had personally extended goodwill toward Fang Yi. And Lady Fang approached Fang Yi. Yi seemed quietly reflective while Lady Fang smiled with confidence. They assured Fang Yi they had adjusted well and now felt prepared to take on more missions without relying on him entirely. Yi expressed her determination to grow stronger, unwilling to remain a burden as she worked hard to catch up to Fang Yi's level. Fang Yi watched them depart, quietly acknowledging how much the younger ones had matured. He exchanged goodbyes with Captain Su and Gowron, then prepared to leave with them for their next destination. Elsewhere, Captain Su got angry, lamented losing Fang Yi's support to the Star God War Zone, feeling her efforts had been wasted. Inside the spiritual association, chaos and disorganization still reigned, especially among branches with excessive autonomy. Elite squads remained disconnected from ground-level operations and were unwilling to cooperate or acknowledge Fang Yi's rising influence. At a medical base, Fang Yi and Gowron arrived to visit Elder Wu, a once powerful King Kong realm cultivator. Elder Wu lay frail and scarred, his condition even worse before treatment. He resembled a lifeless shell. Fang Yi wondered what intense battle could have led to such a state, shocked by the Elder's sacrifice. During a disaster caused by the dark attribute, Elder Wu shielded the capital alone. The spiritual power of his allies had already been transferred to support him in this desperate stand. A monstrous entity classified as an S-rank dark anomaly loomed over the city, its destructive force far beyond prior threats. Gowron explained that the capital's survival depended on stopping this anomaly, as its fall would plunge the entire nation into chaos. Elder Wu had used his own domain to forcefully seal the anomaly, barely surviving due to his King Kong realm strength. Fang Yi stood over the weakened elder, acknowledging the immense sacrifice made to protect the capital from annihilation. Memories of past pioneers' sacrifices returned to him, as he recalled how Elder Wu became the last one standing on the battlefield. He reached forward, channeling lightning attribute energy, attempting to eliminate lingering darkness from Elder Wu's body. Gowron hesitated, concerned about Fang Yi's interference, since the dark attribute was ranked at natural disaster level. Fang Yi remained silent but determined, continuing his spiritual output despite the overwhelming energy surrounding them. She allowed him to proceed, realizing Fang Yi might be the miracle needed to cleanse even the most terrifying darkness. Fang Yi acknowledged the danger, fully aware of how intense the dark attribute energy had become. Despite suppression from the lost bloom, the residual darkness began to affect his mind and body. Gaoran shouted a warning his concentration was slipping, and the dark energy was beginning to corrupt him too. Fang Yi flared with golden energy, trying to resist the invasion of his consciousness by the darkness. Suddenly, he found himself in a different space, standing before a massive red eye in a ruined city. Confused, he realized the dark attribute had pulled his mind back into the past, into the heart of the disaster. Fang Yi stood beneath a dark sky, facing a crimson eye that hovered above the ruined city. The anomaly radiated a strange oppressive force, with blue energy surging from his arm. Fang Yi declared his intent. He didn't come to talk. He came to erase this being from existence. The eye responded with red energy spikes, but Fang Yi held his ground. Golden fire flared in his eyes as he activated his projectile form, bursting forward with storm-infused speed. Fang Yi moved through the red mist. Each strike released violent arcs of divine thunder. Above, swarms of insect-like dark anomalies formed, spiraling in endless numbers. The sky blackened with their presence. Fang Yi admitted this was no illusion. These monsters were real, and there were thousands. He ignited his blade with blazing energy. Without hesitation, he leapt upward, shouting his command. Flames engulfed his blade as he prepared to cleave through the mass. With a single swing, Fang Yi sliced through the dense dark swarm, carving space and light into the chaos. Realizing this anomaly fed off suppressed powers, he readied to push even further, awakening deeper strength. Fang Yi tried to suppress it, but darkness grew stronger. A swirling portal of black mist began to pull at reality. He stood firm as the vortex expanded, the entity questioning his very humanity. Fang Yi responded with resolve, unleashing a surge that ruptured the dark pull completely. The anomaly retreated, leaving a whisper, "We'll be back soon." Before vanishing into the void, Fang Yi recognized the echo. It wasn't just one anomaly. If there were others, another cataclysm could return, with the battlefield scorched and swarming red leaves settling. Fang Yi turned away, for now he had to move. Fang Yi's eyes flared red as he forced the dark energy out of the unconscious man's body. Blue lightning crackled from his arm, striking with precision. A mass of corrupt energy rose into the air, writhing with chaotic force. It hissed violently as if resisting the purification. With a swift motion, Fang Yi unleashed the Nine Dragons' heavenly fire seal, locking the darkness within a burning prison of spiritual flames. The sealed darkness pulsed faintly, its power weakened by the combined efforts of the losing Temper Blossom and Elder Wu's endurance. Despite deep injuries, Elder Wu survived by using his own body as a vessel. Fang Yi acknowledged the teamwork that had made it possible. Although Fang Yi delivered the final blow, he credited the flower's role in weakening the threat. Their combined efforts saved Elder Wu's life. Fang Yi confirmed the dark energy was now fully neutralized, dissolving the last trace in his palm. But Gaoran warned him of something deeper. The darkness they faced seemed to carry awareness. It had hinted at a future return. Fang Yi urged caution, stating that next time, they couldn't rely on an old warrior like Elder Wu. They had to be ready themselves. The military and spiritual associations kept records of aura anomalies. Their projections showed grave warnings. Shia's forces might not survive the resurgence. Reflecting on his rebirth, Fang Yi wondered if changing the past could reshape the future they feared. He remembered how bad it had been 3 years into the resurgence. Gaoran reassured him now was not the time to dwell. Fang Yi promised to fight when calamity returned. No matter the odds, he would stand his ground. He recalled the past battle. The war against calamity was inevitable, but this time, he would change its ending. That night, while meditating under the moonlight, Fang Yi felt it. His next breakthrough was near. The dark attribute had awakened, but he wasn't finished yet. Fang Yi reflected on the vision of the anomaly. Its suppressed form still leaked immense power. He knew it wasn't defeated for good. His gaze shifted to the white flower resting nearby. Realizing its potential had been neglected, he decided to take it out once more. Holding it with care, he smiled. This time, he intended to let it grow stronger and prove its value in the field. Under the full moon, Fang Yi ascended Black Mountain with the flower in hand. Nature was quiet, yet he remained alert. He noted the Spirit Association's botanical center had made progress. Many buried seeds had already sprouted despite limited resources. Finding a safe spot, he let the plant absorb energy, warning it not to overindulge. Its hunger could threaten entire ecosystems. As energy swirled around them, the flower absorbed more than expected. Fang Yi stopped it before it went too far. He moved locations to avoid drawing attention. In his hand, the plant glowed, a desolation-type anomaly, likely of a class rank. Curious, Fang Yi pondered how it would compare to others of its kind. Its evolution was already exceeding expectations. He reached higher ground, recalling rumors of wolf packs once roaming here. Now, the land was still and quiet. A sudden scream shattered the silence. Fang Yi froze, eyes sharpening as he sensed danger approaching fast. A red moon rose overhead. Below it, twisted wolves emerged, their bodies morphing. The pack was evolving and fast.